We are now recording the April 28th, 2017 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So a couple minutes ago, we were talking about joining Zooms by phone, either using the app or dialing in. The phone just doesn't seem to have the power that a regular computer does, no matter what. So when you use the app, many times people that are on phones or people that are driving will drop off, or the connection is not good and you can't hear real well, you'll drop the picture. So Mariette today has phoned in, and we are able to hear her much, much, much better than using the app, the Zoom app. So,
Right. Exactly. Well, just to be clear, so what happens is you do use the Zoom app. So you click, especially if you're using Gina's link, you click on her link, it opens the Zoom app, and inside of the Zoom app, there's a quick pop-up that comes up. And we were saying before, we're so, immediate gratification crazy that we just say, start meeting, and that automatically chooses your microphone and your speaker on your phone versus dialing in. But if you stop and read the message, instead of use phone, there's actually the option that says dial in. Now, mind you, if you are going to be driving like I was, I actually had to pull over and I had to write down the meeting ID.
oh my goodness.
Then just be aware of a couple things. Please don't do this when you're driving. Okay, so let's make sure we don't have any accidents because of this suggestion. So what you want to do is that already know that there's the option to dial in. Already know that it's a better option than using your phone, because we've proven it many times that many of us will come off or will be broken up, and I'm sure it's very obnoxious for the other people listening in. So just kind of pull over if it's that time of the day to get on the cool meeting. Write down the meeting ID number, because I try to do the whole 110, 110, 110, and I can't remember the number, so I have to write it down. And so once you write down the number, you have to choose the option that says dial in. When you choose the option that says dial in, then you actually, it's interesting, then they give you two numbers. So I guess Zoom has like two options, a toll number and then like whatever your local number is, or whatever the non-toll number, I guess, a non-toll free number. And so you choose whichever one. It didn't even matter which one you chose. And the first thing it says is you've reached Zoom, enter in your meeting ID. So that's why I'm saying you have to be stopped, hopefully. Enter in the full, you have to do some things. So you enter in 9 numbers. That's why this is not like 4 numbers. You have to enter in 9 numbers. And then after you enter in 9 numbers, then it says you have now joined the meeting. So it is a process, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, it is worth it, but I'm reminded of Seth David here. This is friction. They should automatically send you to the number for the meeting.
No, it doesn't. And I think GoToMeeting does, because I join a lot of GoToWebinars when I'm driving. And GoToWebinar, actually, as soon as you say call, because I always call into that one, and that one it says you're entering the meeting, and all of a sudden your phone automatically starts dialing in the meeting ID. I think it's really cool. So somehow GoToMeeting and the phones work together, but this one didn't. It made me dial in. It actually said dial, and I was waiting. I waited like, I don't know if you noticed, it took me a little while. I waited like 5 seconds, and I'm like, okay, are you going to automatically dial for me? Are you going to do it?
I expect that.
And it wouldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't do it.
We'll have to make suggestions to Zoom.
So how come there's two squares? There's like one that says MM, and there's one that's got your phone that's kind of flashing green.
Because she joined by the app, but did the dial.
Yes.
So she's in flight.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly why. Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that happens is you should never, never, never try to start a meeting with Zoom on your phone.
Right.
I had that experience last week, and we were not able to complete that meeting because they didn't bring their computer. They thought their phone would be enough.
Mm.
Phone just is not
You,
powerful.
you mean host a meeting? You mean host the meeting, right?
Host a meeting, yes.
Yeah.
You cannot host a meeting with your phone. Even though the app allows you to, it's going to be unsuccessful. It just doesn't have the power. You'll be dropping in and
Got
out.
it.
Your voice will be coming in and out. So, yeah, not fun. And
No, and not professional at all.
Dwayne is coming in using his app too, I believe. And so we'll ask him. Hello, Dwayne.
He wanted to meet, but I'm actually leaving to a meeting in about an hour, so I wouldn't be able to. But he's coming to literally to my neighborhood.
Oh, cool.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was really upset. I'm like, man, but I'm actually driving out to a meeting, so it wasn't even going to work. But yeah, when he said Ontario, I'm like, that's where I'm at. I'm in Ontario.
So where's Ontario exactly?
It's 30 miles. It's 30
Okay.
miles due east of downtown LA.
Okay.
60 miles due east of LAX along the 10 freeway.
So he's coming to your territory. If you can, try and dial in. It works a lot better. We just had this conversation using the Zoom phone versus the Zoom phone to dial in or the Zoom phone app. The dial-in works much
And you
better
should park your car while you're doing this. Do not drive and do it.
because you'll need to add the meeting numbers.
Look at Sarah. She looks like a queen.
Hi, Sarah.
Sarah L. I don't have my crown on.
Well, no, it's the seat you're in. It looks regal.
Oh, I'm in a recliner.
Wow. Looks like soft and comfy.
I know.
You're in your living room instead of in your
Yeah.
office.
porch. No.
Awesome.
Got it.
We're else curled up on the sofa, and then my phone started going chime, chime, chime.
It still does that.
Play with your friends. Go play with your friends.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's two Sarahs today. Oh, no, not again.
Sarah.
Oh, it's too confusing when there's two Sarahs. Oh, okay, Sarah L. I was going to ask you, I forgot to ask you, like, specifically, can we share your infographic on Qbox? Like, because I think I wanted to write a blog, and I wanted to refer back to your infographic. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah,
And
sure.
where does it actually live? Like, where is it? Is it on your website somewhere?
No.
No.
I made a.
Okay.
You made a template, and did you share it in our group?
Didn't I upload it to this Facebook page, the SB?
Yeah, I wanted to give you credit, though. That's why I kind of wanted to. Okay. So is it okay to, I was going to use the image, but I wanted to give you credit. That's why I was going to maybe push it back to your website. But can I just use the image?
Sure. I'm easy.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So, Mariette, you want to talk about, let me see, what conferences are people going to beside accounting conferences? And why do you want to go? And do you feel like you got anything out of it? What was your experience? So
Right. And the idea is just because, obviously a lot of us, either we go to the conferences to connect with each other. I mean, that's obvious, or we may even be speaking there. But like outside of accounting and technology and maybe tax, the tax conferences for CPE, like, do you go to something else? Like I was really intrigued by Melissa Whaley going to FinCon, which is basically a personal financial planners blogging conference, which really intrigued me because a lot of us write about topics that have to do with accounting, technology, and a lot of times that funnels down to financial planning or, finances, whether it's small business finances or personal finances. So that was really interesting that she goes there. So I was just curious if anybody else does things like that.
I do. Are we recording?
Okay.
Yes, we're recording now.
Okay. I am going in a couple of weeks to a conference called the Conference for Global Transformation. And it's in Monterey. It's at a Hyatt hotel there on a golf course. and it's put on by the Wisdom Division of Landmark Education, Landmark Worldwide Education. And it's about people who really want to transform the world. And so there's people that want to, and all the speakers have projects in that all around the world for transforming the world. So it's kind of, I've never been to it before, and it's an expensive one like Sleater is. So I'm going as a volunteer.
Awesome.
So all I have to do is pay for the hotel room.
Hey, how can I be a volunteer for Scaling New Heights?
I don't know whether they have volunteers, but you can call them and ask. You're not far from them, right?
I'm 4 hours. That's what I was thinking. You know, the more I hear people going, I'm like, I should hop in the car.
Still hard to hear you, Sarah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm switching to my computer.
And Linda, I really, really like that you mentioned that, because I'm going to have to get off because my darn phone, the battery's low. Shoot. I'll get on in a little bit. But I just wanted to say that when you mentioned that about volunteering, so I started researching, like, you know, because I'm going to write a blog about it. Like, you know, why do we go outside the box and think about, like, yours is a perfect example of, like, outside a box conference. And, like, people were saying, you know, how could they afford it? Because a lot of times it's expensive and they've already obligated to go to the other ones, like they have to go to Scaling or they have to go. And so one of the options was what you just mentioned, that the girl had mentioned that she volunteers and basically has her ticket paid by volunteering. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Love that.
And
Awesome.
it's a really good way to meet the people that are there and interact with them. You probably only get to go to somewhere between 10 and 30% of the classes because you take turns doing stuff. It depends on each one. But I know people who have volunteered at Toastmaster International Conventions. And I always was able to pay to go to those. But it can get pricey. And volunteering's a good way to go. And Sarah, you shouldn't have any trouble. I would just call Joe Woodward and ask him.
Yeah, I don't want to take advantage. You know, I don't want to, you know, go to any of the sessions or anything. I really just want to go see my friends.
Well, you could go stay at the hotel house.
Well, I might do that. I might see, you know, who's got an extra bed. Or, you know, Mark's like, well, I can go. And then I'm like, I thought you didn't have any more vacation days. But he's going to be gone the whole week before, but I decided not to go. And then a wedding, and we'll be back late Sunday night. So I could come.
Anyway, as long as we're talking about conferences and that, have you decided which hotel you're going to stay at for the Sleater conference yet? Because I'm getting ready to start to make reservations in that.
No, I'm still negotiating my speaker contract.
Got it.
And they didn't offer rooms, and Stacy came back and said,
Good for you.
Better. So anyway,
Okay.
but then I don't know where they'll put me because there's like 3.
Yeah, I know there are. So if we're going to have to start, you know what? I'm wondering, is there a Facebook page for SleaterCon?
Yeah,
Yes.
for account tax, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we'll have to just start that conversation.
Okay, yeah, I think some people had already started chatting about
You
it.
should already be in that group, Linda.
I'm sure I'm in it, but I haven't been going there or getting the notification. The other thing is, it turns out I can fly from Ontario to Boston, Boston to Baltimore, and Baltimore back to Ontario for the same price as flying Ontario to Boston and Boston back to Ontario. So I was thinking of doing that and going up to see you, Gina Rodkey.
Oh, awesome.
So I wanted to know if you were available that Saturday and Sunday after Labor Day.
Check with me. Yeah, check with me afterwards.
Okay.
And I'll let you know. And Dennis, do you go to the Toastmaster conferences?
Occasionally.
So we lost Mariette, but that's the question. What conferences do you do beside?
Well, I know that, like, my Toastmaster group, there's a lot of, it's like half the group is past district governors, and, you know, so occasionally we'll volunteer at, or I'll be recruited to, you know, give us, you know, teach on being the treasurer, that kind of thing. So occasionally I'll go.
Oh, that's right. It's easy being the treasurer for these groups, isn't it?
There's
Everybody
ample,
wants an
ample
account.
opportunity to be a treasurer at Toastmasters,
Most people hate
especially if you're a
it.
CPA.
Right.
What's really rough about that is they give it this set of books and it's like a nightmare. You just start over. You just say, well, just file that away. We'll start anew.
Yeah, that's the bad part, is taking over for someone that's totally botched the job
Oh,
for the previous year. And then,
From a non-accountant person. who
Yeah,
has no idea.
yeah, so I just kind of,
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dwayne. Dwayne just dialed in. Now we can hear you.
yes.
Yeah, you know,
see
I
your-
had to figure it out, but I finally got it resolved.
see your steering wheel
And
too.
you're still alive and kicking. Yay!
Yeah, I am, barely, but I am.
Wayne, are you
survive-
driving on a road here in Southern California right now?
Well, ran into some car problems, so I'm still over in the Sherman Oaks area, but we'll be headed that way in the next 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, because
Oh, that's a bummer, Dwayne. Were you on the
Hold
road
on.
when these problems happened?
Huh?
Were you on the road when these problems happened?
No. Somehow, some way, the key malfunctioned on the car, and so we're trying to get that fixed.
Wow.
Are you there? Yeah, that's what I see. Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, good luck with that, Dwayne.
You know, one time
Thanks. Now I can see everybody. Now I can see everyone. They're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah,
Can hear
Okay.
you, and we have your picture too.
we
I
can see
think
your,
I'm gonna mute or see if
He's
it'll
driving
let
a
me.
Honda, right? Isn't that a Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Honda. Right.
Dwayne, I was going to say on some of the keys, there's like a little manual key that you can slide out of the, the automatic unlock the door, all that stuff. Sometimes there's a little manual key you can slide out and it'll let you open the door.
Where do you go?
Well, I tried with the manual key, and it gave me a little key symbol, and it wouldn't start. Or actually, I started the engine, but it wouldn't. When I put it in reverse, it wouldn't go.
Do you have a hidden keyhole next to your shifter, next to the drive? I had a Honda like that. I'd have to pop off the little plastic piece, and it was actually a keyhole.
Usually you have to have your foot on the brake when you go to start it.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I did that. I think.
I have a standard shift.
Hey, hold on just a minute. Let me try what you guys just said.
We are amazing. Besides fixing accounting problems, we
You
can
guys, you guys are amazing. You are lifesavers. Hold on just a minute.
If it works.
Renaissance people.
Well, if you want to go far, go together. If you want
That's
to go
right.
fast, go alone.
That's
Oh, hey, it won't move. I tried it and it doesn't move.
Do you have the
Hold
hidden
on.
keyhole?
Huh?
You have the hidden keyhole that's right by the shaft of the.
Oh, hold on. I don't see one. Hold on just a minute.
I had an Accord that had it was just a little plastic piece, and I'd peel it off, and you could actually stick your key in there, and it would free it up.
Well, there's a metal outlining area, and then there's a plastic part that's right in the center part of the.
Well, it'd be like the size of a keyhole. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
a little trap door. Mark, we just got a new CRV, and you just keep the key in your pocketbook, and it's like still creeping me out because I get in and I'm like, or every time I park, I want to grab. Yeah, you've been driving.
Of course you do.
So Dwayne, was it in park when you tried to start it?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it started, but then when I put it in reverse, it doesn't move.
Oh, so the engine runs, but the gears don't
Yeah, the
engage.
transmission won't engage.
They don't engage. The gears don't engage, and it has a little gold key symbol that keeps flashing on and off.
Hold on, let's Google it.
To a Honda dealer.
So we call AAA, and they're going to key me a manual key for now. I'll go to the dealers and get another one of these fancy computer remote keys later.
Yeah,
Right,
those keys
right.
are pricey.
Yikes.
I
Was it-
saw there.
was-
Walmart has this little thing that you can plug in to the
Uh-huh.
to where the mechanics plug in, and it has an app, and it'll tell you what it does, all this diagnostics for you. Because I saw a thing on Facebook this morning, and it was like $50, and everybody's like, "That's the coolest thing!" And somebody just put a link to like they got them at Walmart for $17. But
Sarah, what's the name of it?
yeah, I don't know. I was googling flashing lights on a Honda. Hold on.
Oh, it's a Honda app?
Troubleshooting team.
No. I was googling two different. I got to change Google my. Okay, it was
It's a
like
Honda Accord.
it was a
So it's a Honda app, right?
A Honda app.
Auto computer diagnostic test.
Oh, okay, I'll look it up.
Walmart, $17.79. Ace Hardware has one for $70, because what they were saying is if you go to a dealership, they plug that in, because you know what I'll get the engine light,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and I figured out that if you don't do your gas cap tight enough,
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
it'll do it.
Really?
And
Okay, hold on. Let me check that out. Hold on.
If you plug this thing in and there's a code for that and it tells you what's wrong.
Oh,
because they're, you have to be careful where you take your car, because you got to pay them to use their equipment to plug it in.
Yeah, unless you go to your regular guy. I go to my
Yeah.
regular guy and then he tells me.
Right.
oh,
And
it
he
says,
can
oh,
wait.
wait.
Close your gas cap.
Yeah, I checked it out and it's tight. Okay, close it. Let's see what happens.
I would call a Honda dealer while you wait for the AAA guy.
Let's see.
Yeah, we called the Honda dealer. We called the Honda dealer.
Well, why does he
Yeah,
need all of them? He's got us.
Uh-huh.
Maybe have us.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't hear it.
I'm Googling.
You have us. The Friday
wait,
afternoon
we-
Honda
we
Fix
called-
It group.
You know what I noticed? Your steering wheel's upside down, right? 'Cause
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is upside down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
you
said.
said that, huh?
Yeah, somebody said that my girlfriend said her car did that the other day. She kept turning the wheels back and forth and it cranked. So I tried it thinking she was a complete moron, and it worked.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see what's going on
Is
here.
it locked
Hold
in
on.
place? Because when they lock in place, gotta mess with them to unlock it.
Jiggle the steering wheel. Here's another person. You're having problems with your.
There you go. Okay. Now let's see if that makes a difference.
You're having problems with your immobilizer.
When it comes to Hondas, I have no clue.
That's not what you usually drive.
I'm one of them old school guys with the older cars, but when it comes to the new stuff, I have no clue. So, okay, it doesn't work. So it must be that the whole remote system must be completely locked into or integrated with the car, and if you don't have that, it won't start.
It says definitely
Or
your immobilizer.
If it malfunctions, it won't start.
So have you tried taking it
Right.
out of gear, like out of park, like put your foot on the brake, take it out of park, and then put it back in, and try starting it again?
Yeah, I did that. Because you put the brakes on, the engage, it's just like a clutch. It works like a clutch, right? And then when you let it go, that means you letting the clutch out, and then you hit the gas, and then it was supposed to move, and it doesn't do that. So
Somebody says it sounds definitely like your immobilizer. Your key has a chip inside that is programmed to your something. Like one guy said, your key may have been gotten too close to a magnet or something. You can actually ruin your key.
Yeah. So we're going to wait and see and get an extra one made that will work manually with the car, and then we'll go to the dealer, I guess, next week and see what they have to say. But I hear that in order to get those computerized keys made, it's anywhere from the high twos to upwards of $300.
I've lost my spare set. I'm like,
Yep, exactly.
You know, what happened to the old $50, $60 keys days?
Yeah.
Right.
I was told that I bought a key from, I don't know, there was a Toyota dealer or a Nissan dealer, and they, you know, a cheap one for $25. They said this won't start the car, but when I went to start the car, it did start the car. They said, no, this will only open your door or your trunk. That's it.
Linda, did it start the car?
It did. It did.
Yeah.
they wanted your
But
business.
you had to unlock and lock everything manually, though, right?
Right.
Well, no, you could push to unlock. You had to unlock it with the key and that, but to lock it, you just can push the
Button inside.
before you shut the door.
Right. When normally, if you have the remote and if it's functioning
Oh yeah,
properly,
then it would open it. Sure, it would. But I wasn't
yeah.
going to pay $125.
I hear you.
Oh, did
Yes,
you
indeed.
hear they're coming out with a sequel to The Accountant?
Go ahead,
Oh,
Sarah.
no, already?
Yes. It turns out that they gave the Autism Society gave a big award to the guy that starred in it. Was it Ben Affleck? Who starred? Wasn't it Ben Affleck? Who was the accountant?
Yeah. He played the accountant. Yeah, he was an accountant hitman.
Yeah, he must have killed 25 people in that movie. It was like, but I thought it was very well done.
I enjoyed it too. I
loved
enjoyed it too.
So anyway, so they said there's a sequel on the way, and what he wants to do is he wants people to understand, and they're getting better about this. Autistic people can actually do a lot.
Oh, absolutely they can. Absolutely.
Their minds are different and work different from a lot of people's.
It
But,
depends how their language skills too.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they say autistic people are extremely bright. You know.
Yeah,
It's,
In their own way.
it's a spectrum. My son's autistic, and so I've sort of lived with all his life. He has a speech apraxia where he has a hard time speaking, but sometimes I think he knows more than he's letting on.
Oh, I'm sure that he does, Dennis. I am sure that he does.
Because he'll do things that kind of he plays piano pretty well, reads music pretty well, but he just doesn't communicate very well.
right.
Well, I have some friends that have autistic kids, and they turn out to be extremely bright, and then they have certain issues socially. Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to academics and stuff, they're like really bright. You know, once they get locked into what is required, they go after it. Okay.
Yeah, those are, they call
Absolutely.
it, that's Asperger's, high functioning Asperger's.
All righty. Well, let's change the subject a little bit. I'm going to ask another question that Mariette had brought up.
Okay.
She's asking about Facebook groups. Now, all of us here are members of many, many Facebook groups. How many people actually have a Facebook group that they manage? And is it worth all the time that you have to put into it to maintain that, answering questions, whatever?
Well, for me, there's so many with accounting, and that another one would just be,
Redundant.
I think.
Well,
You have to be pretty unique.
That's where I'm at now. I'm Facebook grouped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many groups I can be in.
I mean,
Yeah,
what would be
actually
the
have to do
purpose
some
of
work.
another group? Because it's all gonna be,
Well, I guess it's for getting your name out there, for branding, to get you to, the networking kind of thing.
I could see if it's really a niche type of group that you're interested in,
Yeah.
And
but
there's nothing else there?
yeah, I mean,
Like
there's something,
There's a nonprofit budgeting Facebook page, and there's a, very unique.
But would you be willing to take ownership of one, or do you just want to attend?
They're a
I'm
lot.
like,
I'm
I'm
an
like-
administrator on a couple.
I'm like,
Go ahead, Dennis.
I was gonna say, I'm like the animals in the Three Little Hen, the little hen story about baking the bread.
Mm-hmm.
I just rather eat it.
Yeah, that's a good story, isn't it?
Little red hen, yeah.
Awesome.
See,
Okay.
if you can have a lot of administrators, that really helps. Because like Hector and Michelle's, there's two. It's just,
Right. That is the dynamic duo. Those guys are an
but
awesome.
then look
awesome
at the riffraff that gets in there, and then the scammer yesterday.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
You didn't hear about that? Because I posed a question. I'll call support, but I'd much rather figure something out myself first. Or at least throw it out to you guys and say, hey, have you ever, seen this? So I had a weird problem. And so Allison, yeah, so what they're doing is they're making Facebook user with Intuit as their last name. So we know they work for Intuit. We know which ones work for Intuit. So she had sent me a link with a suggestion or whatever. And then this guy, Eric Lynch, says, call 1-800-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, yes, I'll call support. And I said, but I'm going to try to figure it out. And then I said, I'm not familiar with this number. And so I Googled it and it wasn't coming up. And I thought, first of all, I'd call ProAdvisor support. I wouldn't call the regular. So meanwhile, I was doing what Allison has suggested, and I was dialing in the client. So I just reached over and dialed the number just to see what and I got India, and and I said, can you transfer me to ProAdvisor support? We're support. I said, is this Intuit? This is QuickBooks.
Another scammer.
So I hung up. So I went back and I said, yay, it worked. And then I said, and before I was done typing, Allison goes, this is not Intuit's number. This is a third party number. And then what I had done was I clicked on his name and he was using the Intuit logo as his picture. So at first glance, he thought he worked for Intuit. So I reported him to Facebook, and before we even could get back chatting about it, he was gone. And I got a message from Facebook saying, "Thank you for reporting him. He was not a true, And that was
He sounds like a bot, actually, Sarah. It sounds like it was a bot, not a real person.
Could have been.
I think
Facebook, they deleted his Facebook profile. Meanwhile, I go over to messages and he was trying to message me.
Okay, well, this is what's happening to a lot of clients. If you, as a pro advisor, cannot tell if that is really Intuit support, imagine the people there that are having a problem, frustrated, and all of a sudden this comes at them. They're going to dial that number.
Yeah.
And they're going to get one of those people that say, okay, send us $400, then we'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, let me come onto your computer.
Even worse.
And you will, and then the next thing you know, you're being held hostage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do they call it? The malware, where they take your computer hostage.
Oh, the ransomware.
Ransomware, that's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the point is, you've got a Facebook page with 4,000 members, people joining all the time, and you have Michelle and Hector, they're the only two admins, and so it's a lot of work to click on them, scroll through, see if they have see if they're legit.
Well, I actually do that for our group.
Yeah, I know you do.
Just somebody that comes up and says, hi, I'm here, and here's a picture of me, and they have no friends, and they have no post. Guess what? Goodbye.
I don't have an accounting background or business.
Or anything in accounting. Right. And so I do look to see if they are legitimate accounting people. Now, if they are, I will give them a chance. But if they seem a little bit, or even if they're new, which seems hard to believe, but there are people that are still new to Facebook and these groups. sorry, I missed them. There have been a couple people, and Sandy, who was with us last week, was one that I wasn't sure of.
Right.
So, but then she messaged me, and I actually spoke to her, or messaged back, and determined she was a really, somebody interested in talking about accounting and joining our group and participating.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I don't want people that are interested in QuickBooks but selling us whatever the product is.
No.
We don't want those guys either. So I am paying attention and I am watching.
Yes.
But it is a little bit of work. It is a little bit of work to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just accept anybody that comes.
And you know what? I honestly don't want more excuses to get on Facebook. I'll have a question, I'll flip over, and then I'll go, oh, look, da-da-da. And Karen will start laughing down the hallway going, get out of Facebook. I came in here to ask a question. No, you're looking at the news.
Exactly. There are good things. There are a lot of good things, but if you got to get work done.
Yeah. So if she's thinking about doing her own, or for anybody who's thinking about it, they'd have to. I mean, if my whole focus was building a following and there's selling classes and like seeing them do and stuff like that, or Joanne's real big with her projects and stuff, but I need to focus on work.
Yeah.
And what is the point of building a big following without them really engaging with you? Just to have a follower, to be to have a higher number than other people really does not mean anything. At least not to me.
Not to me either.
I understand where other people come and say, the more people that you have, you can engage with, the more likelihood you'll get somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put something out there and people are interested, they'll come to you.
That's true.
And social media is getting harder and harder with the, I don't know, I guess, do they have a name?
The bots?
Trolls is one of the names.
Trolls and bots.
Today.
I put an article out about that one time. I think I got it from your husband too.
Yeah. Well, you know how some people, first of all, with text or anything written, without a facial expression or inflection or whatever, I am sarcastic. I am a cut up. I'm always joking around. And so some people who take people completely literally, there's so many people in the world, it's just people get offended, and we're in this environment right now where everybody's offended. I mean,
about everything.
So swear to God, that's what happened to me this afternoon. So we have a neighborhood Facebook page, and the woman says, where can I take a tick to be tested for Lyme disease? Okay. So everybody's like, well, I'll try this vet or that vet, and the tick has to be like, and this guy goes, he said, try Dr. da-da-da-da-da, and while you're there, you can get it spayed or neutered.
A tick?
I couldn't help myself. I did. I said, you can spay or neuter a tick?
Sarah.
That's what I would have thought.
It was funny as hell. I mean, it was so funny. And people were like. This lady went off on me. How dare I make jokes about such a serious disease? I'm like, how is this about her? And how is this about it? I'm talking about the guy's funny sentence about it. And you should be ashamed and all this. And and so now she's insulting me, I'm like, and so, I mean, she's just vile. And so we both immediately went, no, but they don't listen to that.
No, they don't.
Okay? They've
Everybody
decided
has their own perspective, right?
you have offended them, and they're just going to be superior and all. So I'm just like, whatever, you know. And
Yeah,
a couple people came in and said, no, they were just joking. I was, no, something. Well, and I said, I'm so sorry to hear you have Lyme. That's a horrible disease. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, she would not stop. So of course, the adult thing to do is just delete it, just get
Right,
away.
right, right,
you know.
right.
Yeah.
I think
But I want to say that you don't know what people are going through.
right.
It
Yeah.
could have, who
But
says
her
this?
last
Dr. Phil
comment-
says this.
Her last comment was, she suggested another vet or something, and she said, I want to apologize to everybody for the stupid people on this thread.
Goodness. And
And
now
somebody said,
coming
well,
out
you
of-
don't have to apologize. We know you're trying to help. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, time to take it off. Time to just leave and you know,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
this, in my mind, no one can be offended about anything unless they choose to be offended.
Yeah. I can see that some people would be, if they ran into that when they were little and they developed a sense
Yeah,
of
but I want to say, yeah, you never know what, I'll call it state of mind or state
Yeah.
of health a person is in.
right.
It could be, having gone through some fun things myself, there are times that I've snapped and I come back and I'm like, this is not me. I'm
Yeah.
not like this.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
no, this is this woman. This woman did not stop.
And then there are those.
You could just see, she's stirring the pot,
Right,
Just
right.
wanted to keep it going and wouldn't let it. And I'm just like, can we get back to finding somebody to test that lady's tick?
And that's not really a thing to do either. The thing to do with a tick, if you find a tick like that,
Yeah.
right, you put it in a piece of tape and put it on a paper, write the date on and when you found it.
Yeah.
In case anyone, I was told that by a vet at one time,
Hmm.
that's what you want to do with ticks, is you want to keep them because you don't know, and I don't know that you can take a tick to get it tested.
Well, that's what they're saying. And
How big is it?
and it's
How big is
like-
it? How big is a tick?
Well, ticks can be a pinpoint. The deer
Yeah.
ticks are like a tiny, tiny little thing.
Well, we walk the dog now up at the trails by the Y. I got in the car a couple weeks ago and they were crawling up my legs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, oh my
We're
God.
horrible this year, I
Yeah.
understand.
So now we
Actually,
get out of the car when we get home, check the dog, check each other. We're half stripping on the way into the house, you know. And, it's that bad.
but they do say if you pull a tick off, if it's actually bitten you, put it in a piece of tape.
Well, she's already gone to the doctor and everything. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'd run to the doctor just because I got bit by a tick.
Well, if you see symptoms, that's when you take it to the doctor with whatever.
And then somebody else said the tick has to be alive if they're actually going to test it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
We
it's
could do
scary
that.
because I have a good friend who is seriously ill. I mean, spinal taps and
Oh,
man, she was sick. But they live up there, like New York, right where where it started. I think, is it Lyme, New York?
I don't know. I know it's bad in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I know that I just gave my little dog the shot for it.
Mhm.
So he's inoculated
Yeah.
Lyme disease.
Yeah. Now what? And we have real bad around here is the rabies.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, rabies, distemper, and Lyme disease.
It's an
is what
epidemic
we do our
on this
dogs for.
island.
Dogs and cats.
If I see a raccoon, sauntering across the yard at 3:00 in the afternoon,
Oh my God. I'm reading online about this. It says the disease started in Connecticut.
oh, Connecticut.
It blamed the accidental release of infected ticks during experiments at Plum Island Animal Disease Center.
Really? Oh my gosh.
About 8
It's man-made?
Connecticut.
Is
It's
that
man-made.
really true? Is that a true statement? This is really a Plum Island? I never believed the things that they talked about. Oh my gosh.
You on a conspiracy website? Where are you?
Yeah. So I think is this fake news?
It's Lyme, Connecticut is where it started. It was National Geographic's website.
Okay, you're pretty safe, I think.
Yeah, I think
I
they're
said, where did Lyme disease start?
okay. Let's change the subject. We didn't get into a whole lot of accounting today. Between
I had
fixing
a
Wayne's
question.
car and Lyme's disease.
Oh, I have a question.
Well, it was all related to social media.
Okay. My question is, I have a friend who's an IT person, and he needs, what he did was he had somebody running QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions 2004. And so he went to eBay or Amazon or somewhere, and he bought 5 user licenses for QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions 2010. But they didn't, he got it all loaded on all the computers, but he can't register it. They didn't send him the stuff to register it.
Surprise!
So what he wants to do though is he wants to buy 5 user licenses, and he wants to have Enterprise Solutions 2010 because it's already installed everywhere. Where can he get those?
He can't. And the
2010.
answer is he should not do that. He should
He got
upgrade.
ripped
No,
off.
I talked to him for a long time, and I don't think it'll hurt at all. These people are not going to run up to date. They're never going to run up to date.
Then this is what
Why? It
happens
costs the
when
same.
you buy cheap and you get cheap.
Well, he
When
got
you
ripped
buy
off.
the shortcut
Well, I
thing,
know that, but can't,
Yeah.
now, like, I told him I could sell him 1 license. Because I have a license, and I don't run it anymore. I paid for it.
I don't know that you can. You've already installed it on your computer.
It's uninstalled now. You can install software on your computer.
Yeah,
but
but it's already
install
registered.
it, you can give them your license and registration number.
You
Is
can't
it,
transfer.
is it,
you
is it
can't
not for,
transfer
it might be not
registration.
for, might be not for resale.
Yeah, see, I don't think you're allowed to transfer like that, Linda. Maybe you
Oh.
can do that, but I think it's against the user licensing to do
You
Oh,
better
I didn't realize that.
you
I
better
thought
check
if
your-
you uninstalled it, it was a
Not the installation, it's the registration.
Better check your user
registration.
license.
Right.
Is it the accountant's version?
Well, if you have a version, you usually could buy, you know what, I should contact Intuit and see if I can buy them. Because I've bought old versions for clients who had a registered
You can
version.
buy additional seats, except that 2010 is a
It's been sunsetted.
sunsetted
for-
already.
Sunsetted, so you may
And
not
they've
be able to-
sunsetted through 14, and they won't even
Right.
deal, even for a reseller. I can get 15, 16.
They should have checked ahead of time. He probably
Yeah, that's
12.
a lesson learned. That's a lesson learned, is what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, clients
And
always doing the darndest
it'll
things.
upgrade to current. The real answer is, even though he doesn't want to spend money after already spending money, the real answer is
Does he have to be on Enterprise? What's keeping him on Enterprise?
Just because that's where it is.
unless he wants to convert to QBO.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he wants a desktop. He could go QB Pro.
Right.
Oh, I know. The reason why I remember that. I said, well, why the hell did he go to Enterprise Solutions? You know, and it was because of all the names.
Oh, as far as that
He
goes.
may need to compress it.
I
Get rid of all
know,
those
I told him that they're not into. I'll call him back again. But it was
Yeah,
like
he's not interested in
he
spending
came up
any
with
money.
his solution, and that was it.
Yeah,
We all do this. We come up with our
Yeah.
solution, and then we're not really open to other possibilities when there might be others that really work much better.
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
I'll have to tell him that. And I said, well, you know, all you got to do too is, if you want to, is you take your old customers and your old vendors. I mean, if he's running 2004 or 5, he's got to have his data file has all that in it, right?
It's also an old operating system and an old computer.
I know. And I said, are you sure that what computer he has will run 2010? Yeah, well, he's an IT guy, but he's got to be working with odd people that Do you know what I mean? That they're running a machine.
Cheapskates.
Yeah, there's more to this story than we're told, even though you
I
spent.
know.
I have no patience anymore.
I know,
I don't know if it's the older I get or the more,
He
I
should
just-
know better.
if you're going to be in business,
Yeah.
rent, utilities, there's certain things you just have to bank on.
And
And
if he's an IT guy, he knows that.
yeah. So.
He's trying to shortcut it.
But then how much time have you lost dealing with that? Is he paying you to just
Talk to him. For
talk
hours.
to him? I mean, you start thinking about how much energy
Right.
he's sucking out of you.
No, I know. I have not spent much. When I talked to him on the phone and he asked me, I
Yeah.
said, well, I'll see if I can do anything. And I put something out on our
Mhm.
Facebook group, and I didn't put in any other group. Just
Yeah.
us.
I
That's
did
smart.
see it there. I did see it.
Yeah.
But
So I didn't get any bites, so I'm not, I'm gonna
that's
tell
because
him.
nobody wanted to tell
Really?
him what he doesn't want to hear.
Well, I'm just gonna tell him in the future, if he runs into somebody with that situation, he should talk with somebody like myself or another QuickBooks expert before he gives in.
Just running out and wasting money. Like the people that dial those
Oh,
800 numbers with
I'm
that.
trying to remember 04. That was a
All
long
right,
time
I'm
ago.
going to change the subject. We're at the
Yeah.
end of our show.
We kind of
We're
drive
gonna
on the
stay
shoulder
free.
of the road today. See, we've been kind of driving on the shoulders of the road today.
Who on our topics?
I know, right?
That's because Sarah's here.
Okay, Sarah Prevost. You're muted, dear.
Okay, hi.
QBO has been down for you.
Yeah, it's been
Today
down
too?
yesterday and then a little bit today.
Yeah,
and
but you know why that was? You know why that was?
Why?
They had, the Woodard Group had classes for the last couple of days.
What?
Yeah,
On QBO?
yeah.
No?
We had a
That
V.
made you go down?
We had a
The V-
VCon on the 26th and the 27th, all day
What's that
long.
got to do with they've got servers all over the world.
Right, that shouldn't have anything to do with QBO going down.
Tens of thousands and thousands of.
well, it
Ye-
only went down yesterday, which I couldn't access. So then I just worked on the other thing,
yeah.
and then it went down. To this morning, I was on it for a little bit, and then it went down. So then I just said, to heck with it. I went back
Well,
to
then
bed
they were
after
running
the Seth
maintenance.
David meeting.
Because everybody was angry that they were down for maintenance, but they would never go down to maintenance on the last day of a month on a Friday in the middle of the day. Unless it were
Well,
really
it was
serious.
Thursday, and then this
You gotta
morning
do
it's
it the
back
way
up.
Q-Box does it. They start at 10 o'clock Pacific.
Not
time.
if it's critical.
For an hour or two.
If it's so critical that they're going to do it in the middle of a workday, it has to be done. So the assumption is it was something related to what happened yesterday.
Okay, Sarah Prevost, I'm sorry. You were talking?
Oh, I said, well, after the meeting this morning with Seth, and I was trying to work on a file at the same time, I just went back to bed. I went and laid down after.
Move.
I was so tired this morning.
Yeah, I got it.
And
I
said,
say-
"Heck with this business."
Good for
Good
you.
girl.
Good for you. Don't let it stress you out. It's not worth the shortening of your life.
Nope.
No, and then after that, I went and got some coffee, and then I came back and said, "Okay, let's try again and see.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Smell roses while it's happening."
Exactly. Exactly.
That's it. You got it.
But you're right, Sarah. It's unfortunate that it happened yesterday and today because it's really impacting, supporting services for, other people that I do in addition to my own clients. I'm kind of like, oh, they've got month-end deadlines. We want to be clean before next
You don't want
week.
to want to work over the weekend.
And I will. And it's my birthday weekend, and I'm going to.
Oh, that's right, your birthday.
But it's sunny. Look, see?
Yay.
It's so blinding. See that, Dennis?
Yeah,
It's sunny today and
I should put
It's-
these on.
looks like all Valera is that all Valera sunglasses?
It is. You know what I did? I was joking around with Seth earlier because I'd missed Tuesday's class with him, and so I did one of these, and I was like, I sent him a photo.
I like it.
Just goofing
I
off.
feel your
told him-
pain though. I do, because you have a schedule. You have a certain amount of tasks that you want to do in a certain amount of time. And when QBO goes down, that just throws that all out the window.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle it? Do you get stressed and upset and, oh,
Or you go back to bed.
Go back to bed. That's perfect. That's perfect.
I was teasing a little bit. Michelle Long was teaching one of the classes, and all throughout the whole presentation, she was having trouble. She would try to get on and do a live demo.
Oh, this was yesterday?
Yeah.
But I got to say this: she is a queen when it comes to those presentations.
Oh,
She is the
Takes it
best
right in
one for
stride.
handling glitches I ever saw.
Yeah.
She did one yesterday with Heather and Hector earlier in the morning, and that was not on the VCon. It was separate.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Were you on it too,
Yeah.
Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it was so, I was like, oh dang it, I started another
I
meeting. with a
printed
different-
off the handout.
You did?
I'm
Yeah.
killing trees. Sorry.
I
Did
know,
they
I know.
did they record it so you can watch it later?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back
Yeah,
and
they
and
do.
watch
You
it.
can access it. They're archived.
Okay.
But it's so cool because she was really talking, like, it kind of helped me understand, how you look at those reports in QuickBooks and you often wonder, like, the percentage categories. I'm like, well, how is it calculating that? She actually really explained that nicely. And so I thought, okay, now I can trust it. Normally I was like, oh, let me just play around. But the way she described it and sort of the conversation, and
It's
also,
a beautiful list of
and don't you love how she did the whole thing about profit and margin and markup, like how she talked? It was just so, I don't know, it's intuitive
Clear.
in your brain. Yeah.
very
What was
clear.
the name? What was the name of her presentation? There you have it.
Profitability, analyzing and advising clients.
Mhm.
That's right.
And she used here's a funny one. I like this one. She said that one of the clients, because the numbers are starting telling a story, not so much you just heavily like that's your guide. It just sort of gives you an idea. Well, one was a water bill. It was going up and up and up. So they started walking around, and there was a squishy part in this office. It sounded terrible, but that was the discovery for why the water bill was too high. And I thought, that's kind of true of a lot of things. Or like, when the owner finally gets around to really dealing with why the costs are so high, like, wouldn't you wonder why your meat is going up and up and up in a restaurant? And come to find out, the kids are like sending it out the back door in boxes. They're just taking inventory off the shelves. And so it's like quick reference points of how you could help.
It's called
advise.
shrinkage.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or
Absolutely.
people, they're making the sandwiches too thick. And
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Well, you usually find that stuff out with inventory year in when you try to reconcile your inventory to your.
Right. But the point she was making is, okay, if a lot of these tools are speeding up our work, we have a little bit extra time to delve in a little deeper and then be more valuable and keeping abreast of these margins and point, what is the word for that? Something point.
Yes.
Yeah, she had a good.
Yeah.
Well,
Plus
the funny thing was, though, is equating, and I think because I'm so new to this, like you all have been doing it for a while, it's just figuring out that balance of equating, moving yourself out of the day-to-day, looking at the big picture, and finding that time to really schedule to be able to look at these numbers and say, okay, I'm going to meet with you in a week or something and start having those conversations. I'm trying to learn how to have that balance for myself.
It's hard though. Sometimes with deadlines and everything, I'm just happy to get the financials out.
I know.
Absolutely.
And I remind
It's
myself,
the next month, and you can just start all over again.
But if you're
what I'm doing right now is I'm telling myself, okay, once I touch the file, I still have to go look at I just look at the P&L and the balance sheet right now. I just go look at it for gut check, just to make sure before I schedule a call with them to do a deeper dive. Because then
absolutely, that is very important.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
on
just a
our
reminder.
monthly month end is we look at like I have a memorized P&L that's like last month against the month before plus year to date, and just looking at 2 months next to each other, I can just scroll down and go, wait a minute,
What's out of line?
their
What's not?
pension is usually 2,500 and it's 50. It's like, hey, they missed a journal entry.
Mhm.
And then, and of course the balance sheet, you know, the net change, and just look and make sure you tie that down.
Mhm.
And then I read the general ledger from the bottom up.
Oh, you do? Yeah, yeah. I see.
Mhm.
It's just I'm doing so many things right now on growth. I feel like I'm just like, whew. So I'm trying to just hone in just a little window of every time I touch a file, I just look at it.
Get a
You know?
good understanding of it. When you do, when you're working with your client's file, you have a sense of what is right and what is wrong. And if you see something that's just not quite right, really talk to that client, because something could be happening, like inventory walking out the door. That is invaluable. That is the perfect opportunity to show that client your value, which is not just putting data in and crunching data.
Mhm.
Well, it's how she talked about it in a different way of like, that's a value add service. So that's something that they could pay for. And that's kind of hard sometimes for them to want to pay for additional services
Mhm.
when you're touching it. So how do you market or change that? And I don't necessarily do it that way, but it doesn't mean I shortchange the client. I just explain that we're doing more together. So I've got 3 that I'm doing more together. So I said, I'm gonna have to increase your bill. Okay, that's totally fair. That's what they've told me. So
Once they see the value in it, they have no problem with that, because you're basically paying for yourself. One bank reconciliation that you find something was double paid is worth your, you know what I mean? And they've been through that.
you find $1,800 for them because they transferred it to the wrong account.
Right, exactly. It only
Oh my
takes
God,
one
that
of
was a happy
those. And it's easy when you've got a lot of bank accounts that you're juggling, that could be missed.
Yeah, that was my attorney. It was just the wrong personal account.
I have an attorney. He's always, I don't know why so many voided checks, but somebody will lose a check, so they just write another one. And they're cash basis, so I'm not seeing, you know, there's not like accounts payable.
Right.
Just all that. And you know, if you do, there are certain reports that I memorize in my memorized group, like monthly columns, and you can see the electric bill. And every once in a while, the one will get in on the 1st and one will get on the 30th. Okay, there's a double, but you can see a pattern, and it really just, and spending that extra time to look for patterns is huge. And then there's other tricks that you can teach, like I had a bookkeeper who, you know, Georgia Power. Well, she had multiple stores, multiple Georgia Power accounts and all that. She used the same vendor every month, and she'd retype them, you know, and I'm like, let's do one vendor for every account. Okay. So I taught her how to do that, whether it was a bank loan or everything, just repeat the vendor, but you know, that way you can quick fill and everything. And we found a water bill, or it was like I want to say permeable. DC had it came to like a water bill, but it was coming in 4 times a year, and they were like, I'm like, what are these? And they didn't even belong to her.
And she's just paying them.
Once I and that we discovered that just out of the exercise of being more organized in how you're posting your books. And
don't you
so
love
that's
that
why I really worry about all this robots, you know, rules, posting all your stuff without a human actually looking at date ranges. We had our electric company or water company here screwed up everybody's billing and double billed and all that. And unless you're reading more than just
but I think that comes with the reports, though. You can find that in the report, Sarah. I mean, not only
doing that monthly.
The data entry can absolutely be automated, but somebody has to look at the reports and see what that data is saying.
But I like memos, like it's certain areas, like insurance policies. I want to see the policy period. I want to see exactly what kind of insurance it is. I want to see like dues and subscriptions. You know how people get billed for dues early and stuff, you know, or get billed, you know. I want to say that, okay, this is the dues for July 1 through June 30th. Those are the type memos that you still have to touch and feel transactions, even if the
That's
amount
okay. That's
and all that
okay.
got in. So it'll
If it
never
comes
be.
in automatically when you get that bill in your hand, you can enter that information much quicker than just entering everything from the beginning and
Right.
date.
I have-
But they
have-
still need
I have
us. In other words,
We have Dwayne back.
I have a question for everybody.
Okay,
What
go
is your
Dwayne.
opinion? Okay, what is your opinion about the projected influence of artificial intelligence in our industry?
that's basically what I'm talking about. Is the
Yeah,
artificial
that's what I'm
intelligence.
talking about.
That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to come back.
We still need a human. We still need a human.
Absolutely, but
Right.
the human's job becomes a little
And
different.
you know why we still
Rather
need a
than
human?
doing the rote automated stuff, you're actually analyzing, you're looking, and you're thinking. And your job becomes more important than someone that's just data entering or crunching numbers.
But think of a bank. Every bank is so unique. Some are real technically cool. Some are in the dark ages. There's no standardization. Some give you bank statements with check copies. Some don't, until the industry becomes standardized in some way, accounting will never be standard.
Absolutely 100% automated.
Vendors, accounts payable, I think, is it Australia where they don't write checks? I mean, they're
Zealand.
so ahead of everybody
Wow.
when it comes to payment information flowing, ours is still so antiquated. Look, we just got chips on our credit cards, guys. I mean,
I know, I agree. I 100% agree.
it'll come.
I send surveys to banks whenever I possibly can. Come on, let's catch up with the technology. You're really behind.
But it's coming. I mean, the more we can take pictures of checks on our phone and be
But
done.
the banks have traditionally been like, we're the bank and you're not. So you deal with what we're giving you to deal with.
And look
That's
how
what I do.
antiquated our government is. I
Shit.
mean, it's in the dark ages. So I'm not too concerned.
I just used a phone app to transfer some money to my daughter's account. She gave me her bank account number, and so I just uploaded a check, made it payable to her, and uploaded a check to her account on the web.
Yeah.
Using the phone app.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting more progressive with that, but they are not doing anything as far as giving us more information. I just recently truly saw a bank statement that on the actual written statement, all they got was date, the word debit, and the amount. Truly.
Wow.
Now that is an antique bank system.
So, and then we're all mad at the hub docs of the world because they can't do all these.
Well, they can't because
But
the
they
banks aren't
can't.
catching
They're all
up. They are not keeping up with technology. And until they do, nothing will, like you said, be truly, completely 100% automated.
But the technology is there. It's just how fast will it move into now
Mainstream.
where it may become an issue is the more and more well, it's like they're talking about changing the tax code and making it easier, raising the standard deduction, so more people will be able to very easily file a tax return versus having to go to a tax accountant. That I would worry about.
I'm sure Intuit would love that, but I don't think H&R Block would be so crazy about that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that for business purposes, that they will always need accountants. I think businesses will always need accountants. I don't see how businesses can live without them.
A lot of accountants are trying to get out of the 1040 business because it's become such a commodity.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they only
There are
do it
those
for the
that'll only do just their business clients.
1040s, Well, I mean, with the business clients, you have the, tax planning, you get the opportunity of IRS representation.
And what a fun thing that is, you know that.
Better you than me.
I know. God bless you, Dennis.
Well, you certainly develop a sense of humor.
Away.
I just solved a major problem. I just got my neighbor to mow my lawn.
Talk to you later.
Oh, really?
All right.
That's where-
we're
that-
we are a
that's
little
where-
bit over.
That's where I was gone. That's why I was gone for a little bit.
You're bartering lawn work?
No, I'm not going to do his tax. I'm just going to pay him $40 to.
Oh.
I haven't mowed my lawn since, a long time. And I thought, holy crap.
Oh, okay. You're getting embarrassed to the neighbors, huh?
All
Well,
right.
yeah, I'm surprised they haven't complained yet. Called
All
the,
righty, everybody. We're going to go for tonight. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Same
Bye.
time,
Next
same
weekend.
place.
Bye bye. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you,
Take care.
Jane.
take care.